Hi, welcome to Toy Hill Studio. My name is Kendall Kessler. Last time I did a very creative A, so I decided to do some more of what I call my Kendall Letters, where I take a letter and then just turn it into a painting. And I decided to do a J this time. I was going to make a really complicated J with all kinds of extensions and all kinds of different lines coming out of it. And then when I did this and added some spacing in the background, I liked it so much so I decided, well, I think I'll keep it this way and maybe get complicated with the brushwork and the colors. Now, this time I want to do a lot of wet and wet. Last time that one took a long time and I had to do a whole lot afterwards, and I'm really busy. And I really like doing wet and wet. It's always a wonderful watercolor technique. If you've had any watercolors, you know what I'm talking about. It's when you get the paper wet and you use very wet paint into that paper and it starts moving around, it starts bleeding. And it takes a lot of practice to get this to really work right. I might have too much, too little. That's all, like I said, all the practice. And I'm going to use not a real small brush, but not a real big brush either. And then just let it really bleed. So I want to make sure I have enough water into the paint, because it's really easy to not do that, and that's not even bleeding or anything. Okay, that's bleeding. That's what I want to see happen. And since I've got it, the lines so strong, I'm not worried about going in and out of them. That'll be fine. But I do have to do a lot of really getting the water into the paint. I know in a number of these I wasn't careful enough and I was trying to get it to bleed. It wasn't bleeding hardly at all. But this is working good this time. Still probably be working off camera, but I'm just so busy. Sold another one of my Blue Ridge paintings, and it's a large one. I've got to get a big crate for it, and I've got a lot of other things going on too, so don't want one that's going to take a real long time. It's not that I'm not caring about how it turns out. I always do. They're all very important to me, but I'm trying to get the first stages done a little quicker. And it's bleeding pretty well. I want to try this really deep blue violet and see if that'll bleed real well. I may have to stop and put some more water on. I've got 2 cups here, one with just pure plain water. That got mixed up in the white. Didn't mean for that to happen. And that way I can add more as it starts to dry. I mean, this is really inexpensive paper. As I've said many times, for these YouTubes I use really cheap paper, and that's why I don't sell these, because I believe in quality. I don't want to sell something that isn't quality, but you can get great archival prints. I'm always being sure to tell people that, because lots of people wonder why these aren't for sale. Although I haven't done commissions of them. I did a real large one of one that turned out real well. Did it in oil paint, which is my main medium. Right now I'm working on a painting of the peaks of Otter Lodge, which has really taken some time, and I'm really having a great time with it. I think I probably mentioned before that this is what most artists say about the painting process. Wow, at first it's so much fun, and then, oh God, it's starting to be all kinds of problems, it's getting so difficult, and then I just want this to be over with. Want it to be finished. Well, it's funny, this painting has not followed that at all. I'm still really enjoying working on it, even though it's taking forever. And I didn't start off thinking this is so fun. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work all the way through. And I think it's going to be a lot of work all the way till the end. But I'm still liking it. Still not saying, oh, I wish it were done. Okay, I'm getting some interesting things. I have a feeling I'm going to stop in a minute and add some more water, because it's probably not going to stop bleeding. Yeah, I think it's probably about time to do that, just around the back areas. And since I have a cup with just water, that's not a problem. Tricky thing is to forget about the cup with just the water and put the dirty brush in there. I was real pleased at how people liked the first one I did on YouTube. I have a number on my website, but not very many. Years ago I decided to do just some creative typography, and then I just did a few and didn't do any more. And then I thought, well, I haven't done that for YouTube, and it might be really interesting to do that. And I was real pleased that people seem to really get into them. So that was nice. Okay, I'm gonna let it drip some too. That's always fun. As I said, with these, I'm really experimental, more so than my other paintings. And I'm just letting things happen. And I could go back into it. If I like the way this is, I won't go back into it. We'll see what happens. Hope everybody's having a good 4th of July. I don't do much for it, especially now because of this virus and all. But there's certainly things you can do online, which I think people should do more and more. I really don't think we should be having meetings, any kind of group, any big, large meetings during this time. I'm very against that. Oh, I forgot my most favorite color. I really haven't put hardly any of that in it. I don't really have a favorite color, but boy, I sure am partial to blue-green. I haven't put much in it at all. Okay, now it's starting to really slow down, so I might have to just quit, because now it's not bleeding very much. And then make some decisions on what I want to do with it. I was hoping to do kind of a quick one today. Gotta get back to building a crate. And if you're an artist, you know what I'm talking about. They are such a pain. You can't go buy a box. You have to cut the cardboard. You have to cut 2 pieces of cardboard for the inner box, and then you have to cut 2 pieces of cardboard and all the siding for the outer box. And it's really a pain. You gotta get it exactly right. The artwork has to be completely immobilized. Artwork is a very tricky thing to ship, and I always tell the people that buy it, before I send it, I put instructions on the outside how to open it so that you don't hurt the artwork. Yeah, it's really starting to dry up now. I'm just kind of adding it with my brush rather than using the clean water, because I do want it to really spread around. And I don't think this is going to be a really quick one. And I might just not. Now see, I could go back into it again when it dries and bleed some more, but then you lose what you already have. And since I kind of like what I've already got, I don't know. I might do some flat washes. And what that is you take a whole lot of water in the paint in the brush, you go across an area, I can't do it now, I'll mess up this painting, go across the area and you pull down that dripped area, and it completely flattens out and makes an area of color that doesn't change in light and dark and is perfectly even throughout. It is one of the 3 main techniques in watercolors: the flat wash, dry brush, and wet and wet. I really like the wet and wet, which is what I just did right now, even though I'm using acrylic paint. But acrylic paint, I think, is better, in my opinion, for watercolors because the colors are so strong. And I prefer to use it when I do a watercolor effect. As I said, almost all my paintings are oil paints, which are done in layers, gotta wait for each layer to dry, and so forth. Well, I think I'm just gonna stop there, and I may go back into it, I may just leave it like that. I'm not real sure. Thank you for watching. Be sure to use the link in the description to look at the final painting. It may change, may not. And then there's also a link to my Etsy shop and to my website and other places where you can see my artwork.